Welcome everybody. Pastor Randy Fry from Gower Christian Church. We were just listening to Bob Elliott on our sanctuary organ playing what he calls Irma's medley, some of Irma Brinton's favorite hymns. He put a medley together and played those when we were doing just virtual worship exclusively. And so I thought I'd share that with you for a few seconds as a lead-in to 7 Minutes with the Savior. This is 7 Minutes with the Savior in the friendly confines of Studio 2B, 2 Bravo, in the massive Gower Christian Church media complex. And the timer has started. So, you know, if you listen to me for any stretch of imagination or a stretch of time, or if you've known me personally, you know I'm a bit wary of technology, probably my generation. I love technology because technology allows us to do stuff like this, which is great. And we are hearing all the time about people who we don't even know, but who have found our live stream and have found this 7 Minutes with the Savior, and it's meaningful to them, it's helpful to them, and nothing gets me more excited than to hear those stories. And so technology is a great thing, and God uses that technology, but you know me, I'm a bit wary of it. I think especially these things can really hinder our wellness at times. We get way too attached to them. But I will say this, I have run across a couple of apps dealing with prayer lately that have really helped me be more consistent in my prayer life. And one of them is called Lectio 365. That's Lectio 365. Here's the opening screen. And this is today's. Every day there's a devotional with a prayer emphasis. And I think it's ecumenical, and so they, once in a while, they pay attention to Catholic or Anglican feast days. I think it might be more Anglican because they're based out of England. But today the emphasis, the person is Francis Xavier. Francis Xavier is the feast day for Francis Xavier, who was a Jesuit missionary in the middle 1500s. Amazing missionary impact in India, and then I think in parts of China, or that area of the Far East. And he said something that kind of struck me in conjunction with even what I talked about yesterday or Tuesday about being the good, and we are here to create good. And this great missionary Francis Xavier said something that struck me for today. Be great in little things. Be great in little things. And it's just reminiscent of some of the things Jesus talked about, to keep in mind the children, the kind of the people that the culture didn't pay a lot of attention to during his time. And he was also paying attention to the lame. He was paying attention to the sick. He was paying attention a lot to the people that were on the fringes of society, because they were abandoned by the religious culture, and he wanted to make sure they knew they weren't abandoned by God. And so Francis said, be great in little things. And he started his missionary work in the hospitals of India in working with the street kids. You know, we think that homelessness and street kids is like a modern problem. No. He started teaching children on the streets. He started working with people in the hospitals, and that's where his missionary efforts began. And I thought, you know, that's important for us in this time. The weight of the times is heavy on us. You know what? The weight of the times, the weight of what we're experiencing is heavy on us in every regard. And I've been really conscious of that heaviness. People who are having to bury parents and children and loved ones, spouses, people whose lives have been impacted employment-wise. I mean, it's just a heavy time. School, will school ever be as it once was? I think it will, but I think that's a ways off. And so the times are heavy. And so even the little things, I think, make a difference. The little conversations you have with your family. You know, the people you encounter in your day-to-day lives, like the clerk at the grocery store. You know, if you see a clerk at the grocery store who doesn't look like they're having a good day, it's because the weight of people are just bearing a burden right now, and some are bearing it better than others. And so be great in the little things. Make these moments. I like the part of the prayer really grabbed me this morning. It says, Lord, give me eyes to see where you are at work in both the big and small parts of my day. And they ask this question: what person or task feels too little or unimportant for me today? How might I serve God greatly in these little things? But there's that dedication. Help me to see the lost and hurting people in my city. I pray today that you would give me courage to spend my life on behalf of others. And so today's on this app, just who knows what a kind word or a smile or just a sign of support, who knows how that might help ease the burden of someone today. And that's all, you know, that's totally a Jesus. If we want to talk about the Savior and how he operated, it was to lift up especially the burdened people. And I think we're called to do the same. And so I encourage you with that today. And you may be burdened yourself, but I think one of the things that we've learned about being burdened is one of the ways we ease our own burden is to encourage or ease the burden of somebody else. So think about that, folks. That's Jesus, man, who went out and really his aim was to ease the burden of the people. We can do that, and we need to do that as followers of Jesus ourselves. I want to ask you to keep in prayer the family of Jack Livingston. This is the father of Linda Livingston Spaeth, who passed away, I think, Tuesday afternoon. Just want to ask you to keep them in your prayers. And we've got some folks recovering from surgery. Laverne Ellifritz, please be praying for him. A couple other people recovering, Randy Mueller and Tammy Schulke, a couple of personal friends of myself and my wife that we've been praying for. I think they're both doing better, but please keep them in your prayers as well. Worship on Sunday is going to be Hanging of the Greens, a special service. I hope you will either worship with us in person or watch live. It's just a great worship service for the season of Advent, and invite you to that 10:30 on Sunday. The annual Christmas in the Park here in Gower is happening at 6:30 Sunday evening. It's going to be a drive-in service. Pastor Seth Mason from Gower Baptist and myself will be reading scriptures and leading folks in hymns, carols, Christmas carols, and then there's some other great Santa Claus, I think, is visiting too. And so check out the city website about that. So I think I went a little over time. You guys are always patient with me, and I appreciate it. But wishing you that God's peace go with you through this week until we meet online and in person. I hope that's the case. God's peace go with you.